and welcome to All Things Career Services with TNT. I'm Dr. Tracy Spots.
And I'm Tatyana Gause.
And let me tell you, folks, we got a doozy of an episode for you today. We have my best friend in the whole wide world, Diana Perez LaRotta here. Diana, what is it that you do?
Hi, I'm an HR manager in higher education, and I have been for approximately the last decade.
The last decade. So I guess that makes you an expert in today's topic, which is what employers want beyond the resume. Would you like to say you're an expert in this too?
I'd like to think I am.
Awesome. So let's get started. So from your perspective, what are some of the top qualities employers look for in candidates beyond what's written on the resume?
So I would say that outside of meeting the requirements for a position, additional qualities that an employer looks for would include analysis of the candidate's soft skills, such as communication, their experience in problem solving, taking initiative, their ability to work in a team versus in a solo setting, time management, and self-awareness. During the screening, interview, or reference check process, taking into account these observations help the employer determine if a person seems like they'd be a good cultural fit within the department and if their work ethic would easily assimilate into the unit.
Oh, awesome. You said it, soft skills. That is such a hot topic today.
It is?
Yeah, and it helps us to go into our next question. So how important are soft skills like communication and teamwork compared to technical skills?
So obviously being able to have the appropriate level of technical skills to perform the job's core functions is absolutely necessary. However, as previously mentioned, having the soft skills that fit within the company or department's dynamic is essential. Throughout my time in HR, I have witnessed candidates who have been neck and neck for final pick on a technical skill side of a position, and 9 times out of 10, the one with the stronger soft skills and the one who has the demonstrated ability to fit well within the departmental unit has been the one that's chosen. From the employer's perspective, refining or polishing a technical skill set is always easier than attempting to navigate opposing work ethic or philosophies between employees.
Very interesting. So which of the Kentucky essential skills, thinking about communication, teamwork, adaptability, professionalism, etc., do you see as most critical for today's workforce?
I would say that while it's important to keep all of them in your wheelhouse, the adaptability and not so much communication but comprehension are the top ones. We have people who are brilliant wordsmiths. However, that's irrelevant if the information that is being relayed is not clearly understood by the intended recipients. I'm not going to lie, as HR, a lot of employee relations begin due to what is being cited as a lack of communication between parties. And then once you start delving deeper into the details of these issues, a lot of time it's not the lack of communication per se, but the lack of comprehension that causes the rift between them. And then the adaptability piece goes hand in hand with comprehension and communication. Throughout our professional careers, we will come across all different styles of communication with colleagues. And so far, what has served me well is the ability to pivot and adapt to these different styles in order to ensure that the information is flowing clearly between us. Adaptability, of course, can also be tied to new processes or systems that are being implemented in your workplace and being able to pivot from the old ways into the new ones.
Perfect. What are some behaviors during the application process or interview process that really make a candidate stand out?
Well, of course, a lot of these may be dependent on the type of position that they're applying for. From my experience, the behaviors which make the candidate stand out include the accuracy or expertise with which they answer technical questions. Their physical demeanor during the interview. For example, things are, such as, are they focused? Do they look nervous? Do they seem confused or lost by the questions? Of course, how they answer the questions. Such as the very stereotypical question that gets asked in a lot of interviews that asks, tell us of a time that you had to deal with a difficult situation and how you handled it, say differing viewpoints with either a supervisor or coworker, and what was your approach. Also, the candidate's ability to grant examples of times when they had to be resourceful or pivot on the spot during any tight deadline. All of these questions are basically asked to see how they react in fast-paced changes and whether or not they can do so in a professional, ethical, and accurate manner.
What are some red flags that might keep a strong resume from turning into a job offer?
Well, what I can think of off the top of my head, first and foremost, is lying. When an employer knows thoroughly the position that they're hiring for, which I'm going to do a quick parentheses, which is why it's so important that the interview committees always consist of personnel who are well versed with the position's core responsibilities and functions. So when they know this, they will know early on if a candidate has lied or perhaps exaggerated about their level of expertise on the technical skills during the interview stage. Also, inconsistencies between dates on the resume and application and what is discussed during the screening or the interview stage, which is why it is so important that we always keep our resumes up to date. And back to the observed behaviors during the interview, if the candidate exhibits poor emotional intelligence, it may present as a red flag for the employer, and that could cause them to stop short of making an offer.
Do you notice any common gaps between what individuals like students think employers want and what employers actually want?
Well, I think early on in professional careers, student employees, or at least very recent college graduates, tend to enter the workforce with the mentality that the goal is to complete the tasks or assignments given in a quick and efficient manner, as if productivity is the only threshold that they're being measured by. So while it may be true that doing these things is necessary, in the long run, the employer will seek people who can adapt to changing circumstances with critical thinking while simultaneously accomplishing the tasks that are being given. A lot of people follow direction, but problem solving efficiently is a skill that is built. One that demonstrates resiliency, creativity, and vision, and in my experience, those tend to be the employees that show the strongest growth trajectory in their careers.
What's one thing students can start doing now while they're in college to develop the skills employers are looking for?
Well, I've been in the workforce long enough at this point that I can say that I've witnessed a few different generations simultaneously working on a consistent basis. And what I can advise college students to do now is utilizing whatever resources are at their disposal, be it via school, internships, mentorships, etc., in order to begin building up their professional soft skills. Also, while it does sound a little cliche, it is true that a lot of times there is what we know and then there is who we know. And the who we know may end up opening doors for us in the future. Networking and making connections within the industry that you're interested in is key. Establishing volunteerships or, like as mentioned, internships in your field of interest while you're still learning and pursuing the degree that will get you into the career that you want is going to help solidify the pathways that you can take when you're ready for that next stage. And lastly, I would say don't sleep on your quote unquote day jobs either. While let's say you may be going to school for software engineering, if your day job is in retail, begin building those professional skill sets such as customer service, liaising disputes, best inventory practices, professionalism in your workplace, supervision experience. All of those types of skills are going to help you build the final skill set that you're going to be using throughout the rest of your career.
And then what advice would you give to students who are nervous about entering the job market?
Prepare well. Be proactive and begin now, as the buildup of your skills will only grow stronger with time. Ask questions, establish mentors, join a group or forum of like-minded individuals, find your support system at home and professionally. But I would say most importantly, while staying consistent, remember to give yourself grace and be patient. We all began faking it until we made it. And generationally, I don't think that has changed much.
All right, last question. How do you see employer expectations changing over the next 5 years?
So that was a little tricky to answer because, of course, it can change significantly based on whatever industry you're in. However, based off of what I've seen, I would say that the minimum knowledge expectations on technical systems has changed drastically and will probably continue to do so. A lot of the skills will include the use of software for digital literacy, proficiency tools having proficiency with AI tools, project management, data analysis, and also proficiency using the platforms that serve these types of purposes. The core skills are definitely on an advanced level compared to what they were, say, approximately 20 years ago when I joined the workforce. And then back to our soft skills: critical thinking, leadership skills, high emotional intelligence, being able to demonstrate flexibility and adaptability with a changing world. And this is why I recommend that you start working on those skills as soon as you possibly can.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time and attention and matter-of-fact answers. That was brilliant. So we're excited. We'll be back in the next couple of weeks with another episode of All Things Career Services with TNT. Take care.